On today's episode, we're talking about all things beauty from within. We're talking about biohacking, flawless beauty, the longevity, and the benefits of herbs in our everyday routine. Leanne, who is one of the founders of Vein and Vine, is jumping on this call with us to explain her unbelievable products I'm obsessed with. And we might even have a little special, maybe giveaway. So stay posted and we'll tell you more details, and you're going to love this episode.
So my background is I'm a pharmacist, and before that I got a biology and chemistry degree at the University of British Columbia, and then from there I went into pharmacy and I started working as a pharmacist just here in Vancouver, and then I was working as the pharmacy manager, and I absolutely love helping people with their health and wellness, and especially when you can see the results of somebody who is really struggling or going through, whether it's like pain or mental health issues, and actually being able to help and see what comes out on the other side and seeing the amazing results that some of my patients have had. But then I guess what happened for me is I really wanted to go more on the natural side of things. Obviously, there's a time and place for pharmaceuticals, but I do believe that the population is really over medicated, doctors overprescribe, and what happens is so many people are on so many medications that then they have a bunch of side effects and they're taking more medications for the side effects, or people are on, say, a bunch of different like antidepressants, but then those are causing them side effects, and then they end up taking more medication. So it kind of turns into a slippery slope whereas I started seeing the benefits of more of the natural side of things. So we focus on medicine through herbs and adaptogens that are all 100% clean, all certified organic products. And it is pretty cool to see that many people have been able to get off a lot of the pharmaceutical medications they were taking that were causing them a lot of side effects. And now they're feeling so much better and just like less foggy and more energy. So we started Vein and Vine. We have 9 different products, and they're all targeted at biohacking, flawless beauty, and longevity, and doing it from the inside out. I mean, you can put as many things on externally, but I think true health it needs to be corrected on the inside, and then it radiates through to the outside.
Absolutely. And like my background is I'm an esthetician, like a licensed esthetician. And that's what I say to people when they come in for a skincare consulting and I'm talking to them about what they're eating. That's usually my first question. Like what's their food? Because I can give you this expensive bottle of whatever and you can put it on your skin, but you're just wasting it if you're not going to invest internally. Now, for people listening and not knowing what biohacking is, can you give like a summary description of what that is?
Yeah, basically using biology and using naturally sourced products to obtain your best possible health, and basically finding ways to, so we use herbs and adaptogens, and basically what they do is they build resistance to stress in your body, and they bring your body back to a place of homeostasis or balance. So that means they can actually work differently for different people. So say somebody who is way overly anxious or stressed, these herbs and adaptogens can bring them back down to a more calm level. Or somebody who's just very fatigued and needs more energy, that same adaptogen can actually raise their energy up and basically give them that kick of energy and that extra enhancement that they need. So it's basically getting to your health state of homeostasis naturally and organically.
Wow.
using
And I feel like too, like you touched on base of having like there's so many different things that people need, and I don't think they realize how fatigued they are, or they don't realize how stressed they are until they start seeing the difference of how once they try different products and kind of biohacking and thinking about what I can do that change. Even something simple as water. I don't think we all drink enough water, and like our
so important.
are made of water. Like we need that, right? And even for skincare, and that's something with I find as being an esthetician is our skin is our largest organ, and people, I can tell by looking at someone's skin if they're dehydrated. I can tell usually if they're stressed or if there's if they smoke, or all these different things. And when you were in pharmacy, was there times where you're like, I want to help you, I don't want to give you this bottle, I want to give you like something else I can help you with?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's essentially what made me want to start my own health and wellness brand. And I wanted to do it in a completely natural and organic way where you're not giving somebody something that is going to cause a whole bunch of side effects and just make them foggy brained all day long, and whether they actually feel and look their best from the inside out. And it's pretty cool to see. And actually, so that's my backstory, and I'll speak on Ashley's behalf
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
since she's not here with me today. So we're both the co-founders of Vein and Vine. And what happened to Ashley was back now about 5 years ago, she got very, very sick. Like her whole pituitary adrenal axis shut down on her. And she was having so many issues with the hormones in her body. And all the doctors were saying that she needed to go on all of these medications. They didn't know if she would ever have a full recovery. And she was just getting so inflamed and just felt horrible and fatigued. And she basically took her health matters into her own hands and did some research. And she started taking all the different herbs and adaptogens. And then she slowly started noticing some really cool results and some benefits. And she actually cured herself just through natural plant medicine, when the whole healthcare system was saying that, well, one, that she needed to be on all of these medications, and two, that she would maybe never be back to baseline. So after that happened, she then started a blog called Soul Renovation about herbs and adaptogens, and was collaborating with different brands. And that made her so passionate about getting into the industry. And then she actually owns a real estate firm, so she has experience with being an entrepreneur. And then with me, with my background in pharmacy and having the credentials in the field, we have really good complementary skill sets. So we teamed up and started our brand, and it's been really fun. We've really been enjoying it, and we love hearing the amazing results that our customers get. Like a month later, they'll write us and say, my hair has never been so thick and healthy and long, and my nails are now strong and they're growing, and like my skin's never looked so good, I've never felt so energized. So it's really cool. We love hearing about everybody's amazing benefits that they've been receiving from our products.
Well, I was reading your information on your website, and you actually knew each other back in elementary school.
We did. Yeah, we've been lifelong friends.
That's amazing. And it's so neat to see like how you both went in different directions, but you could come together and really celebrate like the entrepreneurship, but then the science behind what you're building too, and then collabing it together.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really fun. We really enjoy working together, and it's great too because we always see eye to eye, and then we can bring these different skill sets to the table, and it really comes together really complementary.
Yeah, having like I'm a solo entrepreneur, but I have a team, and even though their name might not be on the business itself, I'm always hiring someone who's totally opposite of me. Like
Mhm.
obviously we like have to get along, but we are like I hire someone who's really techy, or I hire someone who's good at like web research, or someone that's like a very good with photography or something like that, just so then it complements the business altogether. Now with the packaging and the design, I know you just started this business kind of during the pandemic too. Tell me about how the packaging and how like all these ideas came together, and how you decided to launch it the way you did.
Well, it's funny 'cause I feel like things always evolve, and what you think it's going to be one way, it ends up being something completely different. So actually, originally back in 2019, around the summer of 2019, we were going to be a CBD company that was going to launch in the States. So we did, and our name was Eat CBD, and we were going to be a CBD company in the States because that was right when CBD was really taking off, and people were seeing some really amazing benefits with inflammation, with pain, with sleep, anxiety. So we started on that trajectory, but then things kind of slowly started evolving. And then when the pandemic hit, obviously the borders were closed, everything kind of shut down, and we were thinking about what we were going to do with and then we basically figured that CBD was such a saturated market at that time. Like California had like 20,000 brands or something like that. So we're like, you know what? Like a lot of people don't know about herbs and adaptogens and how healing they can be and about their amazing benefits. So we kind of started tapping into that market. And that's how Vein and Vine came to be, because basically it's beauty and plants, bringing those together. So then we basically started doing a lot of research and working on our products. And then we launched in actually in May, so it hasn't been too long.
Wow, that's incredible. And I also think too of seeing, I always feel like with entrepreneurs, we're always looking and seeing like there's a problem and we need to fix it. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even with you looking into the CBD industry and doing that research, because you have launched though, or have you launched it yet? Your CBD, you there's
It's very close. We still are going to have a CBD line, because I still really do believe in the health benefits of CBD, even though it is a saturated market. And also, I love our product because it's fully organic. It's just very pure and clean. It's a bit of a higher dose too. So that's actually going to be in February. That one will be able. We have a few prototypes now, but it'll be launched on a higher scale in February. So we still wanted to keep CBD as part of Vein and Vine, but then we really focused heavily on the herbs and adaptogens.
yeah, and that's another thing that when I was like researching more and more about your product, something that I loved about it was it's good for all dietary concerns. And can you elaborate a little bit more on like all the different benefits, like the gluten free, and how you guys went through all of that to produce this product?
Definitely. So everything is exactly, it's gluten free, everything is vegan, everything is certified organic. It's 100% clean. So there's no fillers or chemicals or anything in our products. They're all 100% clean, 100% vegan. And yeah, if you're celiac, that's totally fine. Like any sort of issues. And actually we find that lots of people take our products because they have celiac or they have IBS, and that they'll write us later saying that we've really helped them, and that's pretty cool too.
Well, and I think too, there's so many different things when I was doing research and looking at your product. There's so many different benefits. Like, yes, I put collagen in my coffee, but what else could I be adding? And I'm loving all your stories on Instagram, because people are saying like, this is how what I put in my coffee, and I'm always like mesmerized by the amount of things people put in their coffee, and I'm like, obviously it's got to taste good because they're posting about it and they love it. And what is one of the top ones that people are mostly putting in their coffee for flavoring from your line?
So that's Rise and Shine, and that's probably my favorite mix that we have. It's our morning mix, and absolutely love Rise and Shine. So it has that nutty taste to it, so it mixes really well in coffee. And that one has ashwagandha, astragalus, nettle root, and maca. So it works really well to give you that extra, like it's like a natural crash free energy, whereas obviously caffeine, you feel great, but then a couple hours later you get a bit of that caffeine crash, whereas this one, it keeps you going in a natural non-crash free way. And then we also love having astragalus in that one, because that one's amazing for anti-aging, and it's a really cool adaptogen. So it basically, like, it lengthens your telomeres, which essentially it prevents and can reverse the signs of aging. So it's cool having that in there as well. And then the maca and the nettle and the ashwagandha really give you an extra, just to give you that stimulation to start the day. And yeah, I absolutely love putting in my coffee, and a lot of our customers do too. And it tastes really great in there as well, because it's just it smells really nice and has that nutty flavor that mixes really well.
Now, when it came to like actually formulating and making the products themselves, how are you like? Were you trying to figure out like a specific amount of products or ingredients you wanted? Like you were like, okay, we're gonna have 5 specific active ingredients in each one, or how did you go about like really dialing in? Because you could throw like it's kind of endless, right? The things you could be in
Exactly.
and all the benefits. So how is it that you knew like this is how many SKUs we want, and how did you kind of dial in on that?
Well, just with my background in pharmacy, I have a lot of I've done a lot of courses on natural health products and their benefits. And then with Ashley's knowledge as well, with collaborating with different brands and through personal experience of healing herself with these products. So she knows from actual personal experience how she got back to a place of health from when she was very sick. And then just through my credentials in, I have a biology and a chemistry degree and my pharmacy degree. So I have those skills, and that I've learned a lot about the herbs and adaptogens through those degrees. So basically between the two of us, just doing a lot of research, reading over the clinical trials, the exact quantities of each ingredient that are needed to actually see results, and which ones have the best results for the ailments that we are helping to treat. So that's basically how we figured it out. And then from there, then we deal with them with co-packers, get everything manufactured, and then also consult with other formulators as well, just to make sure that everything is up to the proper standards. But yeah, basically just through my educational background, and then through Ashley's personal experience and through her own research and collaborations, we kind of, it took a long time, but we're really happy with the mixes that we made.
Well, and I think that's kind of the part of the journey, right? Is like the learning, the trials, and even for yourself, like what makes you feel good, and having both of you to be able to like go off of that, do the clinical trials, like you said, and even your packaging. I absolutely love how clean and fresh it looks. Like,
thank you.
And even the logo and the name of it. And I think that's what, because to be completely honest, I came across your company because I was scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, okay, that name looks super catchy. Like, let me click on this. And then I was like mesmerized by your products. Like, and
Thank you.
And I even like love the story of how like you take, like we keep saying this, like the business and then the science behind. But when it came to like launching, was that something that you guys were kind of like because launching a product, like with our product line, I always find launching is one of the most difficult parts of having a product line, like how you're gonna get the excitement around it. So how did you do that within your company?
Well, basically, we were working on it for a while, and this is another reason how Ashley and I are so complementary in our business styles, because I'm a perfectionist and I do things very slowly. Mm-hmm. So I'm very meticulous and I do things very, very slowly. Whereas Ashley, she likes to get things done more quickly and basically like fix the mistakes along the way. But that's why it's a great match, because if it were up to me, I'd probably never launch anything. So I would wait until every single thing is absolutely perfect. But then maybe Ashley would just like launch something way too fast. So between the two of us, we're good, the yin and yang for that. So finally, when we felt like we launched with 4 SKUs and we felt pretty good about those ones. So we just did it. Like once everything was all set up, like all of our, all the like the business side of things were all set up, and we just went live, and it was great.
I think once it's out there, you're like, okay, there's no going back now. It's out there.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing. And then obviously when you look back and if you see like what we originally, because we've changed our packaging, we've changed some of our SKUs, so things are constantly evolving and changing. But you just got to start. You just got to launch and start, and then just keep on evolving as you go.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely an Ashley in this conversation, because I'm like the entrepreneur. Like I laughed because I said to my girls in 2020, I was like, we're not launching any more products. Like what we've done is enough. We have a lash extension company. And I was like, okay, what we've launched is enough. We're not doing any more SKUs. We're done. And then over the Christmas break, I decided to launch another one. And they're like, you said we weren't going to do another one. I'm like, well, it just came together, and why not? Like, let's just.
Your brands, they look amazing, by the way, like really good. As
thank you. Yeah, it's so nice. It's been like a journey in the sense of like I saw a problem, like what we were saying in the lash industry companies, especially in Canada, we were lacking that, and I was buying all over the world and all the expenses and everything, and I was like, why don't I just make my own? So very similar to what you did, right? You saw the problem and you're like, okay, well, why can't we do this? And especially with the credentials, I had the experience of being a lash artist, and I was like, okay, I know what I want. And then same with you, with your experience in being educated in that field, it's easy to see like, okay, we can fix this, and fixing that problem.
Exactly. And I think that's what we're both in it for is it's just, it's really cool to help people. And when people like they feel better, they look better, they have that confidence, and they're just healthier. It's great to see it. It's that's why we're doing it, because when we get those customer reviews and people will personally tell us that we've made a difference in their lives and that they've never been happier and healthier and more confident, that's really cool.
And that's kind of that's what drives us, I think, as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh my gosh, I made a difference in someone's life. And having those reviews, like, I don't think people know how much that means to entrepreneurs. Like, we do that little happy dance. That's what they always say.
Yeah.
Buys a product or leaves a review, right?
Exactly. And it's cool too to seeing other people interacting with something that you created and then actually really enjoying it and seeing really great results. It's awesome. We really, really enjoy that. And obviously our branding is, it's very girly and it is targeted more towards women, but we actually had this, one of our customers, her boyfriend was concerned that his hair was starting to thin, he was starting to lose his hair, and obviously that's a lot what a lot of guys go through, and it can be quite devastating for them. So one of her products, it's such a girly name, is Good Hair Don't Care, but she was giving it to him every single day, and I think he was just kind of like humoring her, like, okay. And after a month, he actually noticed his hair was thickening again, and now he's like one of our he comes back every month to get a new Good Hair Don't Care, because he's actually noticed some really amazing benefits, and his hair is actually thickening and growing back, which is really cool.
Well, and I think too, like, myself being in the beauty industry, I'm amazed now. Like, I would say, like, I've had my spa for 5 years, and I would say in the past 2 years, the amount of men that are coming in now, whether it's for
Mm-hmm.
waxing or pedicures or even manicures, and it's some of like the most like manly men that are coming
Yeah.
in. And I'm like, and then I have someone come in, they're like, I'm so nervous to come in, or they like are nervous to even buy a gift card, and then they see like some guy in work boots come through. I'm like, we're open to everybody. So I think it's hard to make sometimes gender neutral branding and who you're trying to, like, who your audience is going to be. But that's a
Mhm.
great point. I really like that point about maybe I should start sneaking that in everybody's coffee.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. It was funny because the boyfriend was more just humoring her, like, okay, all right, good hair, don't care. But then now he's like, okay, I need another one. I need every month. He's like, I need to buy one more because he's actually, which is cool though, because obviously for, yeah, if a man's losing their hair, having it thin, that's going to hurt their ego and their confidence. So it's actually cool to see that now he's feeling so much better about himself and it's actually making a difference.
I wonder if he's sharing that with his buddies.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, his girlfriend shared it with us, which was really nice. She reached out to us to let us know that. But yeah, maybe though, maybe he's telling them, and yeah, maybe I'll start getting a bunch of orders from all these guys now for the Good Hair Don't Care.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing is like, sometimes you create a product and you don't realize how much of an impact you're actually making on someone, right?
Mhm.
We know from our personal experiences, but like that, like you said, that confidence, you're literally giving someone confidence in that bottle, right?
Definitely. So no, it's been really fun, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like you're constantly building and expanding and making a difference in people's lives, and it feels really good.
Did you ever think of yourself as an entrepreneur or think you were going to go this direction?
Yeah, I did for a while actually, because not when I was in school, but after I started working as a pharmacist, then I was managing in the pharmacy. That's when the wheels really started turning, and I was thinking about doing my own thing and doing something that was product based. And I was constantly just reading books and getting more information and learning about how other people did it. And then that was when Ashley and I finally, I mean, we've always been friends, but then we reconnected in a business sense. And we basically decided to take our experiences and our different skill sets and come together and get Vein and Vine going. So it's been a really fun journey.
Now, how did you like do you remember back to like the first conversation of you two like going back and forth with ideas, and like how did that first like conversation kind of happen?
Well, it's funny because we every time we hung out, we only saw each other because obviously life gets so busy. Like after high school, we maybe saw each other like a few times a year. but every time we hung out, we would call them health days. So we would go on a hike, we would make healthy smoothies. I guess that kind of ended up tying all in. We'd play around with different herbs and things in the smoothies. We'd sit in her sauna and just talk about business and ideas. So I think the wheels were always turning when we were together. And then when I was working as a pharmacist, she knew that I was thinking about what my next move would be, and then I wanted to go in that direction of starting my own company and being an entrepreneur. And she was already an entrepreneur with her real estate firm. And then basically finally what happened was she was kind of thinking of steering, not, she still has a real estate firm, but kind of going in another direction as well and starting a product. And that's when she was thinking maybe CBD, because that was right when it was that's right when it was like starting to explode and everyone was getting in on the CBD train. So then we reconnected around that time because she knew that I was also wanting to start a product-based business in health and wellness, and that I have the credentials behind me in the in health and medicine and science. So that's kind of when we teamed up, and then from there things just kept on evolving and changing to where they are today.
And I think the journey, like just kind of not having any expectation, like that's what I always found having these conversations with entrepreneurs too, is like they just followed their passion and where they needed to go, and then just had this like feeling. And I think when you have that gut feeling of like, let's just do this, and it comes together, you're like, why did I wait so long, right? Like how did this all happen? Now when you kind of look back at your journey, is there anything that you really found was one of the hardest things, like with either like with when it came to pharmacy or within school or even starting Vein and Vine? What was like something that really stood out that challenged you as an individual?
I think maybe the hardest thing is just is just starting. So basically when I knew, like, it was all pretty natural, like going from school to pharmacy to managing, that all happened pretty naturally. But but then I knew that I wanted to start something else. But just the biggest challenge was probably, it probably took me like a good 3 years, even from the time when I started thinking that there was something else I wanted to do and I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I wanted to start something, to just starting it. And I think too, because obviously things are going to evolve and they're going to change so much. But I think that's the biggest challenge, is just kind of picking something like, okay, this is happening, we're starting this. Because that doesn't mean that you're stuck to that one thing or married to that thing for the rest of your life. Like that's what happened to us. It ends up evolving and changing. But I guess that was the biggest challenge for me, being a perfectionist. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to launch something until I know it's like the perfect, like best branding, best product, the best everything. Like don't want a single mistake on any of the like packaging. I want everything to be perfect. So I think that's the hardest thing. It's just, you be like, you know what, I like this idea, I like this product, let's start and then see where it goes.
And there's no like perfect time either, or like I know exactly what you mean about like making sure everything's perfect, because that's where I think of like, if I didn't just jump on it and take that opportunity, or didn't like pursue a product or something and the next person did, I think it's just like just going with the flow, riding that wave and being like, okay, let's just do it, let's send this off and see what happens.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we're constantly evolving and growing and expanding, and we're still very much in startup mode. So we're excited for what's to come. We have some really fun and exciting products coming up and different ideas that we're going to roll with. So it's really fun. I really enjoy the journey.
Well, product lines, like I like having a spa as well as a product line. I feel like the product line, I just am so much more creative, and I'm like doing so much more research and just like creating things. I think it gets addicting. You're probably the same, as like you've done
Oh,
one,
yeah.
let's do the next one, let's make this happen.
Exactly. And then the cool thing is you learn so much along the way, and then you can start doing things just better and faster all the time. The more you learn and the more you create, it's addicting, and it's fun, and you're constantly, learning and just getting better as you go along. It's a fun journey for sure.
When like even I think of back of like packaging alone, like that is probably something I found. I always had formulations came pretty easy, but when it came to the packaging with my company specifically, like the packaging is what took us forever to decide, and like changing ideas and doing all that. Would you say the packaging was something that was very tedious with your company as well?
Definitely. And it's funny, we're still like making tweaks along the way too. Like you can look at, we actually have a little bit of a revamp coming up in the near future as well. Cause I feel like it is something that you're constantly, cause it's your baby. So you're constantly, playing around with it, tweaking it a little bit, but it definitely took a while, and it still is constantly evolving.
Now with some of the companies, so I see that you're doing like wholesale and other options for like
Mhm.
storefronts to sell as well. Now, has that really, like, have you found that's really helped your business, or how have you guys kind of been creating that platform for people?
Yeah, it really has. Actually, today, that's where we're doing our photo shoot this morning. It was in one of our locations in North Vancouver. Actually, they have two locations, and they sell Vein and Vine at both of them. They're smoothie bars. They do smoothie bowls, like those Buddha bowls, that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're still there, and then we're in some spin and yoga studios, and in Medi spas as well. So it's definitely great for our business because it's great for brand recognition. So people see our products on the shelves there, and then they learn more about the products, and then they see them online also. So it's just great for our brand recognition, and to get our mission statement across, and for people to learn.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you see a product, like I have our e-commerce, but I find when people are physically in a store and see something and they can
Mhm.
speak to someone openly about it, or the receptionist or someone working there, it's so much easier to make that sale. So I
Mhm.
like that is a huge step, I think, as entrepreneurs, is getting the product out there and being able to get it into more people's hands, having it in actual stores, and like and selling your business to that level.
Exactly. Yeah, I absolutely love being, and it's just cool too, like walking into a store. I'm like, oh, like I made this, and it's on the shelf here, and other people are enjoying it. It's cool. We definitely want to be in as many different retail spots as possible, because it's great when people can actually learn about the product in person, and exactly, you said, they can actually like look at it, and feel it, and interact with the product, as opposed to just seeing it online and not really knowing what to expect.
And I know, for example, like all of the science that's gone into these products too, like as whether it's a health and wellness or yoga studio or a spa or medi spa, that I feel like there's so many people. I feel like Vancouver too, like I'm in Ontario, but I find like Vancouver has so many innovative entrepreneurs when it comes to health and wellness. Like
Mhm.
it's like a huge hub. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely it's such a West Coast thing for sure. But it's cool though. It's really cool. Over here, we're always looking for the most innovative workout, or the new fad for smoothies, or all that sort of stuff. Different exercises. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm like 2 hours north of Toronto, and I feel like even when we were in Toronto a lot more, it was like, oh, my friends in Vancouver are already doing that. Like it was kind of like a funny way of like the transition of the
Mhm.
West Coast to like more of the east of Canada. And when it came to licensing your products and stuff like that, did you find it was really hard to try to get all the certifications behind your brand within like different areas?
Yeah, we just had to. I mean, we basically delegated that, so we just had to hire somebody who knew what they were doing, so that made it a lot easier. So basically, just delegate that and put that in somebody else's hands. But it wasn't too bad though.
Yeah, because that's something I noticed with our line is we a lot of our products are made in the UK, so technically they're European grade anyways, which is like way exceeded of a lot of other countries. But that's something I'm always so interested, especially in the food industry, of like how like if people do it themselves or outsourcing, but definitely outsourcing I think would be, because that's a huge liability.
Exactly. So it's a lot easier if you just hire somebody who's done it a million times. They know what they're doing, and you're in good hands. It's a lot easier.
Awesome. Well, just I think we covered a lot in the sense of like I feel like we touched a lot on like the manufacturing of it and how like your story on both you and Ashley too. And I think another point that I want to touch on is like the sleep. I know a lot of us with like how anxious everyone is with the crazy world
Mhm.
we live in. What is one of the ones SKUs that you would recommend for sleep?
Sweet dreams.
Really?
That one, yeah, it's very exactly. That one is great for sleep. It's heavy on peppermint and passion flower, and also ashwagandha, which is great for helping with sleep. It's and it's nice too because obviously people who take things that are like prescription or over the counter, then you don't end up getting that good quality sleep and you feel groggy or you have like kind of like that hangover feeling the next day. But with sweet dreams, it's completely natural and it helps just relax the body and let you have a full night's sleep. Yeah, I absolutely, because that's the same thing with me too. Sometimes I struggle with sleep, so I just sometimes I'll make like a chamomile tea and then I'll put the sweet dreams in it as well, and that really really helps.
Yeah, that's nice. And also, I find with sleep medication, like I used to be on an antidepressant for sleep because I just found, probably as an entrepreneur, I couldn't sleep because I couldn't turn my mind off. And I found
Exactly.
I was so groggy and I had to get off of it because it would take me until almost noon until I felt normal again.
Exactly. That's the problem with a lot of them is, yeah, they do get you to sleep, but then the next day you feel foggy and you need to have about 10 coffees until you feel normal again. And that's obviously, that's not good either. So yeah, I definitely recommend sweet dreams for sleep because it makes you completely relaxed and helps you stay asleep. You don't have that hangover feeling or that groggy feeling in the morning.
What is probably your like favorite ingredients that you've involved in your product line? Like, do you have one specific that you really are proud of like the specific ingredient?
Again, that would be astragalus. Again, would be that one that always brings out my nerdy science side because I love different pathways in the body and basically, not to bore you too much, but astragalus, it helps lengthen your telomeres. So when you age, so your chromosomes have telomeres on the end, and as you age, those shrink, and that's essentially what causes the signs of aging. So what astragalus does is it activates an enzyme called telomerase, and that works to increase the length of the telomeres and then essentially reverses the signs of aging. So and that ingredient too, they're starting to do a lot of stem cell research on it, do a lot of clinical trials, and the results are actually, they're pretty exciting. So it's nice incorporating that into a few of our products because I mean, who doesn't like anti-aging?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like there's this whole new, I listened to Natalie Ellis podcast, Boss Babe, and she's all about biohacking. And I feel like she just did an episode not that long ago about it, and I was like, okay, what is this? And it was just like kind of at the same time as when I had discovered your company as well. And I feel like people are starting to realize like what makes them feel good, and it's not sometimes what people are recommending or what's put on magazines, or it's because a lot of it sometimes is ads, they're selling the product. But the whole biohacking, I feel like this is just like the beginning of people realizing it, and especially with the new time of, I feel like because we're kind of in this new era, and people are starting to take better care of themselves because I think they're realizing how important everything is.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree, and I think too people are starting to realize, like what we're talking about earlier, is that it's not just the outside. It's not just like putting products on your face and getting a hair treatment. You actually need to do it from the inside out. You need to drink your water, eat your veggies, take your herbs and adaptogens and your supplements, and really take care of your body because otherwise it doesn't matter. You can put all the stuff on the outside, but you're not gonna be healthy on the inside. And when you're healthy on the inside, that really radiates on the outside.
Yeah, and I feel like too, like I don't know about you, but I've definitely been wearing a lot less makeup just because we're in lockdown basically. And it's funny because I'm looking at my skin a lot different. I'm like, oh wow, I'm getting breakout in my hormonal area, or what am I eating that's making my skin sensitive in specific areas? And that's where I think people need to realize the realness of the human body too, is we all go through something, and it's like, what are we going to do to fix it, or what are we going to do to like air quotes biohack and fix that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's cool. And that's what Ashley and I always look at too, because we'll talk about, yeah, exactly what you mentioned, like hormonal breakout. We're like, okay, well, what are things that we can do to target the adrenal glands and to help prevent that from happening and do it naturally? And it's cool when you really start understanding how your systems work, how like the pituitary adrenal axis works and the hormones, and then what you can do to basically biohack that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I feel like when, like I said before, when people come in and they're like, oh, I'm having problems in my chin area, I'm like, okay, well, is it the time of the month? I'm asking them like all these different, are you on birth control? Are you on this? Asking them all these questions, and sometimes it can get quite personal, and it's whether it's totally up to their comfort level of how much they want to share with me. But I'm like, I can give you this salicylic acid treatment, but it might not actually do anything because your hormones are kind of out of whack and they need to be rebalanced. And that's something that I think is so interesting, and that's why I love your line. And I think that's just such a key point of, we keep saying like beauty from the inside, and then it's basically glow from the outside. And even I think of like, I've been taking collagen for so long, and I think that's why people always comment how long my hair is, and I swear it's because of the collagen. And I used to wear hair extensions so much, like in high school and when I did pageants and stuff, and my hair was all damaged underneath. I had like the shortest little baby hairs because I had like clip-in hair extensions. And I remember I'm like, okay, I need to stop doing this. I need to basically figure out why my hair keeps breaking, and I need to get on something that's going to help it. And I came across collagen. I think a girlfriend had told me about it, and I was like, okay, I need to get on this. And then that kind of revolved into me wanting to know more about what I can put into my coffees and what biohacking was, and if I can put some little potions in here and there, what's going to help fix it.
Exactly. And your hair looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, your showing like it's so thick. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Well, probably I barely do anything with it either, so that probably definitely helps. But I think clean beauty is really becoming the new way. Like when I look at skincare, for example, now I look at the label. Like I used to be like, oh, it's got pretty packaging, whatever, like, or this person, the celebrity's using it. But now looking at educating, I think everyone's educating themselves a lot more when it comes to ingredients. And I'm sure with your experience in the pharmacy, I'm sure people were asking you more and more questions like, oh, what is this specific ingredients in this prescription doing?
Exactly. And it's just so nice when you have clean ingredients and you know exactly everything that's in something. No preservatives, no chemicals, no fillers. It's great to know just everything is just 100% clean.
Yeah. And I noticed too, like when I've been away on vacation or I've been eating really poorly, or when we were traveling a lot, I was like, my body's craving a salad. Like I was like, wow, this is like all these preservatives and things and the salts and everything in my food. And then I would come back to my normal, like healthy routine. And I was like, wow, I wouldn't have known that I would feel like that crappy if I didn't know what clean was.
Exactly. I know it's so nice just having a big salad and a few glasses of water. It feels really good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on. Now, where can listeners find you? Where would be the best place for them to come and purchase product or to hear more about your story?
Yeah, so we have our website, that's veinandvine.com, and then also through Instagram, which is just at veinandvine. Those are probably the two best ways to follow and contact us.
Awesome. Well, this is amazing. And then